Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is this message will find you when you need it. So whatever time or whatever time period you've clicked on this video, I'll basically just be bringing through any messages that Spirit have for you right now, your spirit guides have for you right now in regards to whatever you're going through or whatever you may need to hear right now. So I have 3 piles for you guys to choose from. Pile number 1 is the shell. Pile number 2 is the clear quartz. And pile 3, I'm not going to pick it up because it's going to roll, but pile number 3 is the amethyst ball. So see which pile you were drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what messages you need to hear right now, what guidance you need to hear right now. So you guys chose the shell. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. Tap me into the collective. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. What do my pile number 1s need to hear right now? Oh God. What do my pile number 1s need to hear? We have the 5 of Cups. We have the Queen of Swords. Okay. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. What do my pile number 1s need to hear right now? 2 of Pentacles. One more card, please, spirit guides. One more card, please, spirit guides. You've done a lot of like the deep like subconscious work. Like you've done a lot of like shadow work, understanding difficult emotions, understanding other people's point of view from a more deeper perspective. I feel like you guys have been pulling out a lot of thorns. Like you guys have done that, and I feel like you're quite a master at that. And I think it's because there's a strong like polarity here. Like I feel like you guys may do things in extremes. So you're not the type of person to just do like a little bit of shadow work and then get on with it like a month later. You're the type of person to sit in a shadow phase and purge. You're the type of person like when it's high, and when it's low, it's low. That's what I'm picking up from you guys. And I think because of that, I think that you're someone that can reach really high heights but then also reach really low lows. And I think that you guys have done a lot of like inner work, shadow work, like really got down to like the nitty gritty deep stuff and purged. And I think that's really beautiful. I think that you've cleared a lot. But I think sometimes, and this is a message coming through from your spirit guides, sometimes there are just lighter emotions that we can just feel, and it doesn't have to be a deeper meaning. It's just something that's coming out. Because I keep being shown like you guys thinking back to like a time period where there's like a disappointment, or a time period where there's a little bit of sadness, and it's not something that's like affecting your whole day. It's not something that's making you purge and whatever, and it's like, I've already purged that. I already know the answer as to why that even happened. Like I've already cleared that. But for some reason I'm just sitting here and I'm feeling a little bit low about this, or I feel sad, or I'm grieving this a little bit right now. And it's almost like you guys naturally want to jump to get to work and purge, and where's this coming from, and where's the thorn from? But the thorn isn't there. You pull the thorn out. What I'm being shown is just little emotions that are coming up, and your spirit guides are saying it's okay to just feel things just because sometimes it's just something as simple as, I was disappointed, I thought that would work, or I was disappointed, I put energy into you and I didn't get it back. And it doesn't have to be like this deep pull that you may be searching for. It's just something that can come up and you can just accept and just allow yourself to feel into it, because I think you have such a beautiful way of allowing your deep emotions to be felt. But sometimes with lighter emotions you might pick at, and instead of just feeling it, and you're actually being called to embrace any feelings that are coming up. It's not because you've missed something, it's the fact that you did all of this heavy work at the bottom. This is just some light debris coming up, and you're being called to just feel them just because. You don't have to look for a meaning to it. Obviously, if you're called to, you can, but there's something about doing this in just a light way and just letting these feelings come through, and letting maybe that sadness come through, or letting that guilt come through, or that bittersweet feeling come through. Because as human beings, we're always going to have these little emotions. We're always going to think back to some things and feel a little bit bittersweet. We're always going to think back to something and go, oh, that sucked. And that's okay, you know? And I think sometimes you may be a little bit of a perfectionist, which is fine. I'm a perfectionist myself. Where it's like you may feel something and think, why am I feeling that? I shouldn't be feeling that. But it's okay to. It's okay to just go, that makes me sad that happened, but you know, we're moving on. Let me just feel into that, but we can move on. It's okay to just have those lighter things. And sometimes we are going to have ghosts because we're human beings that live lives. You know, we've had connections with people. We've had to let people go. We've had to learn things the hard way. It's part of being human. And sometimes we are going to have those stories and those ghosts that are there. But we don't have to hold on to it and vigorously pull at it. We can just feel it and move on, because it's a part of our story and we learned a lot, you know. And that's a message that your spirit guides are bringing through to you right now, because I think you've made leaps and bounds. I think you've cleared so much, and I think that you're very much in a new phase. This isn't a case of a new phase is coming. You're in a new phase, but then I feel like when certain feelings may come up, which is fine, it's like, imagine being in the deepest of waters and you swam all the way to shore. Like, you were at the bottom of the trench and you've swam all the way to shore. You're up on land now, and it's like there's maybe a couple of drips of water still running down your leg. I know this is like a really weird analogy, but this is what I'm being shown. There's a couple of, you know, laps of water still running down your leg, and you're tired. You just swam, you know, and you want to enjoy the beach. That's why you swam here. But because these drips of water are on your leg, it's okay to go, well, yeah, these drips of water on my leg, I just swam and that was tiresome. The water's still there, but it's going to dry. It's okay to just do that instead of seeing the drips of water on your leg and then just doing a backstroke on the sand, because it's like, oh, I've still got these emotions, so I'm still in the water. There's water on my leg. I've still got to swim. I still got to push. Oh my God, because you're on land now, you know? So the reference in these emotions is like little drips that are just on your leg that are going to be dried up by the sun in no time. Let yourself rest. You earned it. You're here. You're on the sand. Enjoy the beach, you know? And that's the way they're kind of referencing it to me, because I think you've done so much work, and it's just bits of debris in the air, you know? So everything's fine is the message. I think you're moving to a more lighter-hearted time. That's why we've got the Two of Pentacles here. So you're being called to embrace that. And when we because I'm being shown like a cut on someone's leg, and it's like you put the medicine on, it's healed, it's dried up. You might still be able to see the mark there because that's a ghost, that's a part of it, and you may still be able to remember the pain, but it doesn't mean you have to like put yourself through all that pain again. It just is, and you can just let it flow, you know? That's what I'm hearing here. And it's not to bypass any of these feelings, but I keep being shown like really just light. When I say lighthearted, like you may feel a little bit sadness, you may want to cry, but like I see you guys wanting to look for the meaning, and I haven't healed this and you have. And it's not necessarily that you need to look for the meaning. You've done all of that. Just let yourself feel it, because it'll be gone the minute you feel into it, you know? Thank you next. I'm hearing thank you next. Pile number 1. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. What do my pile number 1s need to hear right now? We have the Emperor. I think that as well, through a lot of your disappointments and through a lot of what you've been through, I think you've become incredibly wise. And I think that those tools are equipping you for this next phase. And I think this next phase that you're heading into, because I think you've been in a bit of a, because we've got this like, it's like the bottom of like what looks like a trench here, and she's here with these bowls, and she's kind of like, you know, the Five of Cups, this is like a disappointment energy, you know what I mean? And I just feel like with the Page of Pentacles being at the back of the deck, I feel like you're moving into a phase where there's new opportunities, and I keep seeing these emotions just passing you by, but then it's almost like I'm looking back at the disappointment and holding on to it, and you're being called to release that and let it go, because there's new opportunities on the horizon. That's why we have, you know, the Page of Pentacles here, because you're being called to like open up to new possibilities. And for some reason, I don't know why, the Six of Wands is here. I don't know where that even came from, but it's here. And as you can see, she's cheering to a crowd here. I almost feel like you've mastered something, or you've cleared up a phase, or you've moved on to another phase. And I keep being shown like where you're currently at is where you wanted to be, and you're being called to rejoice in that. And really look around you, like you've made it, you did it, like you've done that, you know. And you know that I don't know where it's from. It's like a TikTok sound, and it's like, you did it, like you did it, and then it's like the person's like, where's Bing Bong or something, and then it's like, you did it, and it's like go save Riley, and then it's like take her to the moon for me. So it's almost like, if you've never heard that sound, what I'm trying to explain to you with that sound is you're exactly where you wanted to be. Like I keep being shown like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, you would have wanted to make it through this phase. You would have wanted to make it through that shadow phase. You would have wanted to have what it is that is in your life now, whether it's just like an energy that you're in, or being able to understand things from a higher perspective, or you may have brought something physical in, and Spirit saying, you're here, you did it. Rejoice in that and enjoy it. And yes, these feelings may come up from time to time, but just feel them and let them go. Don't let them tarnish everything you've built, and don't let them tarnish where you are now, because I think you've made leaps and bounds. And you know, I think with this Six of Wands, it's like you're being called to rejoice in all that you've done, because there's a lot of pride coming through. Like, look around you, you're where you're meant to be. Like, you got yourself here. Don't keep swimming all the way back down. Like, you've made it here, you know. I hope you guys know what sound I'm on about. It's like, where's Bing Bong? And it's like, Bing Bong, and then you just hear someone go save Riley, and it's like, take her to the moon for me. And it's always paired with like sad TikToks where I end up feeling very emotional, but that's what I'm hearing. It's almost like your shadow self is saying that, like, get up on that sand and dance around and enjoy. You don't need to be down here. Like, I already understand why things happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to rejoice, and it's okay. And even when you have those emotions coming through, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're going backwards, or you need to go back and find out the reason why, and why you haven't, you know. It's just a couple of drips on your leg. They're gonna dry. You're fine. Like, that's the message that Spirit has for you. Let me pull some oracle cards. I think this might be quite a short reading, because I almost feel this is more matter of fact, and I'm kind of finding myself going around in circles saying the same thing, because I feel like that's just the main message. But I'm going to pull oracle cards now. I'm going to pull two. We have We Are Nature, Becoming Grounded, Embodiment, Living in Connection. Becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection. Let me get one more. Pile number one. What do my pile number ones need to hear right now? I'm normally used to these type of readings going long, like 30 minutes, but this is a very to the point reading. And I think it's because you've done so much, you know what I mean? Like, the child within, inner mother, innocence, gentleness, tenderness. I think it's a lot of maybe inner child healing that you've been doing, and grieving, or maybe you had a lot of karmic connections that triggered situations from your childhood, and maybe that's where you've been purging and clearing. And there's almost this feeling of like, and I see you so beautifully and so bravely as well, because this would have been really heavy emotions, really going down, and it's almost like you're fighting for yourself, you're fighting for your inner child. It's like, why did this happen? I need to clear this, I need to purge this. And I almost feel like this very noble sense of like still wanting to go back down, because it's like, I need to save that version of me, I need to save that version of me. But there's a strong message that you already have. There's a strong message that you already did. And you've made such a leap to get to where you are. And I think you guys definitely, you know, you have that perfectionistic energy that's worked in your favor. But like I always say, like the pendulum swings from one energy to the other. And now you're being called to, like, you've got your inner child there, you've got your inner teenager there. They know now what they're worth. They know now what to experience. They know now to look out for, you know, what dangers could be there, and how to maybe have boundaries and things like that. They know that now. They're all with you here. Even your shadow self understands that now, and I see it in your energy field. So it's like, now it's time to rejoice, now it's time for the party, now it's time to play. Look where you are. Like, you've got yourself here, you've, you know, pulled all those splinters out, you know. you're here, and that's why you're being called to rejoice, because I feel like the work that you've been doing really does feel like it's correlating to the heart space and your childhood, and clearing a lot of that, and you've done a lot of work there. And with We Are Nature, becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection, that's why you're being called into the present, to enjoy the present and enjoy these moments and enjoy the little things, because you really do deserve it. I feel like you may be still searching for what you need to clear, but I think that you've done so much. And the back of the deck, funnily enough, is the Holy Grail. Stop the endless searching in a quest. You know, I just keep being shown somebody on the sand with like a couple of drips on the leg, and they're still trying to do these heavy strokes, still trying to doggy paddle, like still trying to do the breaststrokes. And that's why I'm here and stop the endless searching, because it's like, that's the Thank You Next song. It's like, look what I found, no need for searching. Like, you did it. Like, I keep wanting to say that to you guys, like, you did it. You did it. Like, enjoy. Like, this is where you are. You're here. You made it, you know? It's beautiful. And I kind of want to dance with you. You know, the end of the Night of the Museum movie, and I don't know if it's the first one or the second one, I think it's the first, and all the like toys and stuff that came to life, they're all dancing to that song by Earth, Wind, Fire. Do you remember the something night of December or September? I'm hearing that, and I'm being shown the two little figurines, and they're like dancing in the toy car. Like, I'm being shown that, and you know, at the end of the movie they're all dancing to that, and all the animals are out and whatever. And I don't know, I'm just being shown that, like, I don't know if you watched that as a kid, but I'm being shown your spirit guides and you guys, and it's like, done, like, we just completed that phase, let's dance. Like, that's what I'm hearing, and it's like silly, but they're wanting you to celebrate and like look, like they're almost calling you to like look up from wherever you're watching this video from. I don't know if you're on your phone or your TV or your laptop. It's like, look up, you're here. You know, even energetically, like, you're here. Even if you're not where you fully want to be, energetically, you're here. You did it, you know? And that's the message the Spirit really want to bring through for you. And just that they're proud of you, because you've really faced a lot of things head on. It's really beautiful. So pile number one, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Oh, I do want to say as well, the symbolism with the shell, like, there's nothing living in that shell right now. That washed up to sea. So there would have been a purpose for that shell where it was protecting something, but then whatever it was that was inside of it would have come out or whatever, and it would have washed up to sea. Like, that purpose and that phase, you know, it's like the ghost of like what once lived in here. It's now just a shell. It's a bit of debris. So I feel like that's symbolic as well, that you chose that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what messages and guidance you need to hear right now. So you guys chose the clear quartz. When I tapped into your pile, I kept being shown visions of like a kaleidoscope. Like, you know, when you look through a kaleidoscope and there's all these images and colours and patterns, and yeah, I literally felt like I was entering a kaleidoscope. I don't know why. I don't know if it's going to pertain to the reading, but that was just something that happened when I opened up to your pile. You know, when like this is kind of like multifaceted, it's got like different, you know, it's kind of like that with like diamonds. Like, I'm being shown lots of faces on something. It could just be your energy, like your spirit being very multidimensional and being very old soul with like lots of lives, but that was something that I was shown. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2, what messages and guidance do my pile number 2s need to hear today? What guidance and messages do my pile number 2s need to hear today? We have the Hierophant. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What do my pile number 2s need to hear today? I'm hearing that song by Sleeping Beauty, Once Upon a Dream. Like, I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. You may be having very vivid dreams recently. You also may be having dreams with very significant meanings. So I would definitely write your dreams down. Yeah, I would, Yeah, that's what I'm picking up. It's the dream state. It's the subconscious state. 4 of Cups. Pile number... I feel like I'm walking down Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland, but I don't know why I'm being shown something. So okay, how I'm getting your messages is through visualizations clairvoyantly, because they're showing me scenarios as if I'm in a dream, like wacky scenarios. You know when you have dreams and they're just wacky? It's like that must be existing on some other plane, some alternative universe, because this feels like Earth, but it's not. I kind of feel like I'm in a room with lots of doors, and they're all opening and giving me different perspectives. And I'm walking through them and everything feels very topsy-turvy, like I'm in a dream. You may be lucid dreaming a lot recently. Pile number 2. What am I don't know. Let me get the cards down so I can channel and see where they're taking me. Pile number 2. We have the 6 of Wands. Pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. What messages do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? The Hermit. Back of the deck we have the Knight of Swords, but it's reversed. Knight of Swords reversed. This is really, I feel like everything's colourful and I'm looking through everything through a kaleidoscope, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a dream-like state. Like, I really pay attention to your dreams right now, guys. I feel like your dreams are going to be really significant. I almost see you hacking into something subconsciously, like your brain wiring into something subconsciously. Because these doors that I'm looking at, it almost feels like doors of existence or planes of existence, and I keep wanting to remind you that you are the key to where you're moving through life. You are the key to how your life is going to go. Like, you are the key. You can quantum leap, and I keep wanting to say this to you. You can quantum leap, you can shift, you can change, like you can align your energy with something different. There is endless possibilities, even on the path, like every path that we're on, and we're shifting paths constantly. Each path that we're on has multiple doors. Each path that we're on has multiple ways of seeing it. There's multiple realms on Earth. You're going to choose what frequency you want to be in, and you're going to choose what way you want to move. And I keep wanting to put that, like, it's not even like put a key in your hand. It's like, no, I want you to remember that, because you can access these grids of consciousness. You can access these realms. You can access how you want your life to go. If you want your life to go one way, you can access that. If you want your life to go another way, you can access that. You may be having a lot of dreams right now where you're living in an alternate, a different reality, or thoughts of like a really low frequency, like the worst reality you could be in, and then a really high frequency, like the highest frequency. And I almost feel like Spirit's coming to you in dreams and in layers like that, or even when you're meditating, to be like, there is multiple realms you can tap into. Which one do you want to tap into? You do know you can do that, right? You do know that you're able to do that. It could be something you're accessing or finding knowledge in to a deeper degree. You may be in a bit of a downloading stage right now, where you may be having a lot more knowledge in really understanding the depth of how you can shift through different paradigms and how you can align with different paradigms. But it's like, it all starts with you. Which path do you want to go down? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be in a year's time? You know you can do that, right? You know that if it's coming into your head, that is a higher timeline, and you can jump onto it, right? You know you can do that. That job that you're wanting to do, or you're wanting to work for yourself, and you keep wondering about how is it going to work, you know you can make it work. Yeah, you know you can align with it. Like, that's how Spirit's coming through. You do know you're in the steering wheel. You do know that, right? Like, I keep wanting to, it's like I'm reminding you, like, did you forget? And the reason I'm saying it to you guys in the sense of did you forget is because I feel like you've done it before. It's like, you know you did that before. Because like, it's almost like, it's how do I explain it? I see you guys making a really big shift, like a quantum leap, or bringing a manifestation in that's really big, or aligning your life differently, going through an ego death, like doing a really big shift, aligning yourself with it, and then having it come to fruition, like living in it. and then having like a higher like sight, like, okay, let's go up here. But then as you go to like look up there, you're going, oh, I can't do that. That's too heavy. And I see your spirit guides around you like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, that is going to be so much easier than the last one, because one, it's not even as much as a shift as the last one. Second of all, you've already put in the work from the last time you did it to get here. So you already know how this goes, yeah? You know that this is going to be a piece of cake. You know the ropes by this point. Like, what do you mean? You know, it's like I keep being shown somebody like with the stairs, walking up all of these stairs, and then it's like one step to go, and you're like, oh, I'd like to be on that step. And then going to put your foot on it and be like, I couldn't possibly. What if it didn't work? And your spirit guides are like, you just ran up 15 stairs. And there's this last stair, and you're going, no, couldn't do that. That's impossible. That's a bit of a reach. I don't know how I could make that work. And like, it's almost humorous with your spirit guides. It's like, do you know who you are? Do you remember that you've done this loads of times, aced it quite flawlessly too? What do you mean? What do you mean you can't? What are you talking about? Have you forgotten your light? Have you forgotten your power? Have you forgotten all of that? Because there's almost this feeling as well, like when you did it before, you weren't even awake to half of your power. Now you're actually awake to more of your power, and now you're saying that you can't get there. There's this confusion, like, do you know that meme of that person with like an equation and he looks confused? It's like your spirit guides are there like, really? Like, are you, what? Like, did you forget? Did you forget? Did you forget like all the times you've accessed different realms before? Did you forget all the manifestations you've already brought in? Did you forget how much you've already healed from? What do you mean? Like, you know that it's like a scene from what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. She was doing Hot Ones. You know, there's an interview called Hot Ones, and they eat like really spicy wings, and yeah, and I don't know what she was talking about, but she ate like a really spicy one. She's literally crying, and she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she's like, what do you mean? And your spirit guides are almost like that too. Like, what do you mean you can't climb up that last step? Did you forget the power you have within you? Like, And even with this Four of Cups, it's like, I don't know if you've been feeling a bit frustrated lately or stagnant, or like things aren't working. And I feel like your spirit guides are almost like, that I see them energetically. I feel like I'm throwing stuff at you to get your attention, like into the physical. It's like, all right, energetically they might not be paying attention. Let me just chuck something into the physical. Yes, pay attention to your dreams, but also pay attention to anything that's coming up for you right now in regards to random TikToks that show up. I'll give you an example. I had a dream 2 nights ago. It was a really intense dream. I was in a plane, and this is probably the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life. I was on a plane, and there was like really crazy turbulence, and then while the turbulence was happening, the plane lost control and it started nosediving, and everyone was like, get on the floor, get on the floor. And I couldn't get on the floor because of the force of the plane. It was just thinging about, and I could hear the plane like going down. Everyone was screaming. It was the most intense dream I've ever had, and I couldn't get to the floor. And I remember knowing that the plane was nosediving, and then it went into the sea, and I remember water coming all over me, and I woke up, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was the most intense, because I could still feel the water, I could still feel the force of the plane when I woke up. It was the most intense dream ever, and I was awake then for the majority of the day. I couldn't get back to sleep, and when I was going to sleep that night, I was like, maybe that dream was nothing, you know, maybe that dream was nothing. And I go on TikTok. The first video on TikTok is a plane that lost control. I think it was like a plane from Antarctica, started nosediving and went straight into the sea. I don't know if I was like there as like a spirit guide. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe I was just witnessing it energetically, or I don't know. I really don't know. But I keep being shown scenarios like that with you guys. Like, you may dream of something and then it just shows up, because it's like spirit of bringing that into your physical. Like, no, this means something. You need to look at this. Like, this means something. I'm seeing situations like that, or I'm seeing like, you may not have been seeing repeated numbers for some time. I see you guys being very connected with spirit, so I don't feel like spirit would really connect with you in regards to angel numbers much, because I feel like you just get downloads anyway. That's what I'm feeling for you guys anyway. Whereas I feel like Spirit's almost bringing things into the physical, like, right, here's some angel numbers. And I feel like they're almost doing it to jumpstart you, to kickstart you. Like, yes, like, let's go. Let's go again. Like, you can bring this in. Like, let's move towards this. You're in charge of your reality. You don't need to feel like you're defeated. You don't need to feel like you can't get over something. Because it may be something that's come up in your life recently and you're seeing it as like a wedge, or you're seeing it as something that like, well, this is just knocking me back down. And Spirit's like, when did that stop you before? When did that stop you before? You know? And that's why Spirit's like chucking things into the physical to kind of like kickstart you and be like, see, we're here, come on. Like, you've got a lot of support around you. Let's go, you know? And I feel like Spirit's doing that. And I also see over the next couple of weeks to months, I see Spirit coming to you physically to let you know they're there in a way of like, don't give up. Because you may not have a lot of people physically around you to like motivate you. And I just see Spirit like showing up in the physical. Or you may even find like people may get in touch with you, or people might contact you. You may bump into people that are inspiring you. Like, I'm seeing content that's inspiring you. I'm seeing people like inviting you places where you're feeling inspired. Like, I'm seeing a lot of that. And I feel like it's happening in your dreams too. Like, you may have a dream of like what to do for like a business idea, and then you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. And then physically it's almost like something's being gifted to you, or something's coming up, like on, you know, you see something on YouTube, or you see something on Twitter, or you see something on TikTok or whatever, and it's like, see, you're meant to be doing that. And I see that for you guys, because I see it's almost like Spirit feels like you're forgetting who you are, you're forgetting your potential, and you're forgetting what you can do. And it's like, it's fine to be humble if you want to be humble, but like, you've made so many leaps. Why are you stopping here? And why do you think that you can't get over this next leap? Because I'm referencing that it's an easier leap than before. It's way more possible than how the other one looked. The other one was more quote unquote impossible, but you did it. So why are you, you know? Maybe you've been really focused in the physical, so you've been looking at everything in a logical sense, and that's why that kaleidoscope and the different realms are coming in, because it's like, start looking at things through the lens of Spirit, because that's what got you here. Start looking at things through tuition, walk with faith, not by sight, like through your intuition, because that's what got you here. So they're kind of sparking to try and trigger that for you, so that you can expand where you're currently at. Because I feel like you may be feeling a bit stagnant, or you're wanting to move somewhere, but then it's like, oh, can't. And Spirit guy's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's what I keep being shown. Pile number 2. What do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? We have the sacred waters, nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, self-care. What's my pile number? I just heard, did you forget part of your planning, and even your planning before, was dreaming, being creative, wondering, expanding your mind? Did you forget that part? You can't skip that part. That's how you remember how to make these leaps. That's how the downloads come in. That's how the stepping stones come in before you put them into the physical. Did you forget that? Because I keep being called out, like, did you forget that when you brought in whatever it is that you have now, or when you managed to get through whatever it is you are now, did you forget you were really, really, like, looking at things from a high perspective and looking at it from a lens of everything's possible because I'm in control of my reality, and you were just playing about being creative? Did you forget that part? Because it's almost like, logically, I can't do this, and it's like, I'm seeing someone scratching their head, like, what? Like, I feel like you might not be looking at it through the lens of Spirit, and I feel like that's one of the biggest tools you have for success. And Spirit's like putting the kaleidoscope there, like, you're the one in control. You are that one. You're that person, you know? So they're asking you to be, they're calling you into a creative state, but a state where you're maybe in a meditative state, and connecting with Spirit and downloading and having ideas of where to go. That's what because I feel like that's also going to be your fuel to get you excited and push you towards where you want to go. Because with the Knight of Swords reversed at the back of the deck, it's like you may even be struggling to move things in a concrete way right now, and it's because there's this feeling of like you might not have the full direction yet, or you might not be seeing from the higher perspective. You're looking at it from the down low. You're being called up into the air to look at it from a higher perspective. So you're almost being called to like dream, be creative, be inspired, so that you can see where you want to go. And I also have that ammunition to get there, because you know you're walking with faith and not by sight. Pile number... Pile number 2, after the rain, silver lining, relief, hope, mercy, it's over, acceptance. Interesting. Back of the deck we have release the petals, transformation, death and rebirth, shedding, all change. All change, shedding, transformation, silver lining, relief, hope, mercy, it's over, acceptance. What do you mean by it's over after the rain? I just want to tell you, there's nothing that you can't do. And I feel like you're the type that once you reach a mountain, it's like naturally you're looking for another mountain. But I kind of feel like I'm being called for you guys not to settle. What brought you to the phase you're in now? I don't know what phase you're in now. I don't know if it was an ego death, a transformation, a spiritual awakening. I don't know whether it was like you wanted to bring in a lot of physical abundance to get out of a situation. I don't know. But what brought you and shoved you and brought you to where you are and caused the transformation and you running up those stairs? I feel like it was something that felt a little bit like survival. Like, I've got to rush towards this. Like, I have no choice but to have this be my only option, so I have no choice but for this to work out. I'm gonna leap and let the net appear. So what caused you to get to where you are, you almost felt backed into a wall, like, I have no choice, I'm not staying here, I have to get here. Whereas where you're at now, I keep being shown like a safety, you're in a safe spot, but you have way more potential than this. So while you've got to this safe spot, it's like a couple steps more up, and it's like I keep hearing like you're Ryan and that your spirit guides is Chape, and you know when she's like, imagine having everything we ever dreamed, don't you want it? And then she's like trying to convince Ryan to like, he's like sold out shows, and she's like, think bigger, and then he's like, and the Oscar goes to, and she's like, that's better, and she's like, because bigger is better. And I'm not saying don't be satisfied with where you are. Having gratitude for where you are is what creates more abundance. But I feel like what got you onto this ledge where you're at now is maybe like a survival of like, I need to be here, I need to be here. And I feel like that was your ammunition before, whereas your ammunition has now changed, and it's almost like what's going to be your ammunition moving forward into creating more abundance and more love and more of what it is that you want, and not feeling stagnant, because we always want to be moving. What's going to be doing that for you guys is getting inspired, getting excited, and finding what works for you, and bringing that in. And I feel like that's why maybe you may be feeling a little bit stuck, or feeling like you don't know how to move forward or how to bring something in, because I feel like your ammunition towards something now has changed. And that's where Spirit's like trying to remind you, like, do you not remember who you are? Do you not remember this? Do you not remember this side of you? This is one of your biggest tools. Activate it. You can jump up another couple of ledges if you want to, especially if you're feeling stagnant and stuck. Because I almost feel, sorry for the noise outside, guys, I almost feel like there's somewhere else you're supposed to be that's going to create more abundance for you and bring more happiness in for you and more love in for you. And that's where you're being I think the postman just put something through the door. Yeah, he did. That's what I'm really, really being shown with you guys, is you jumped onto that ledge through having no choice, or feeling like there was no choice. So you had no choice but to be in that energy of seeing from a higher perspective. But now that you've rooted in, you're being called back into that energy to jump forward again. Yeah. Release the petals, transformation, death and rebirth, shedding, all change. Yeah, I feel like Spirit want more for you. Like there's something you may be settling for that may be keeping you a bit stagnant, and I feel like it's not, it almost feels like it's not sustainable. Like there's something else that's almost going to be fruitful and sustainable, and I feel like it's also something you want and that your heart space wants, but I keep being told like I can't jump onto that, maybe because I don't see the full picture of it yet, or I don't know how that could work. And that's why Spirit's like, do you not remember who you are? What do you mean? And that's why you're being called into that state of receiving in dreamlike state, because Spirit's trying to give you notes and messages of like the bigger picture, like trying to paint you the bigger picture to see where it is you're meant to head next. I hope that makes sense. And that's why I was being shown the kaleidoscope, to look at things through a different realm, to become a little bit ungrounded, to see from a high perspective and then bring it back down to root. I feel like you've done it before and now you're being called to jump back up to see from a high perspective again. Yeah. And then secondly, with the doors open and it's like you are the key, you are the one that can move into any timeline that you want to. Like you have it all within you. Don't forget that, you know? You may be looking at things very 3D and Spirit's like, no, there's lots of realms. There's lots of realms and you know this. So use that knowledge. Walk into a different room if you're not satisfied with where you are, if you feel like you want more. Because I feel like a lot of you do. Yeah, so that's what I have for you guys. Pile number 2, I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance and messages you need to hear right now. So you guys chose the amethyst crystal. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 3. What do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? What guidance do my pile number 3s need right now? We have the 9 of Swords. What do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? What do my pile number 3s need to hear? We have the Queen of Wands. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. What do my pile number 3s need to hear? We have the Hierophant reversed. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 3. What do my pile number 3s need to hear? We have the 10 of Pentacles. Quick reminder with this pile. Yes, when things, you know, don't work out the way that we'd like them to, or we, you know, are in a connection that doesn't work out, or someone hurts us, we want, you know, we want to address the feelings, we want to grieve, we want to go through that. That's normal. That's not what I'm on about. Carry on doing that if you're purging, that's cool. But Spirit's wanting to give a layer of almost like a spiritual layer, like a layer from like a bird's eye view of when we don't have something particularly in our life, or someone's removed from our life, or something is no longer aligning. It's because what we can't see energetically is sometimes that person could have been more poison to us than a cure. That person could have taken us onto maybe one of our lowest timelines, or, you know, really pulled and sucked a light from us, or they might not have been the best person to be around. They could have even been, I want to say it because it's coming through, maybe a dangerous person to be around, somebody that, you know, I'm seeing somebody like in a connection, and this isn't going to pertain to all of you, but I see somebody in a connection with like a heart of gold and like having lots of love for somebody, and then I'm seeing that person back, and that person, it's almost like it's not like this open heart. It's like a, like, you'd fit God on my arm, or like this is like lust. This is like, it's almost like I want to pull at this and hack at this, but I'm not valuing it. And it's almost like Spirit's watching something where you're maybe giving your all, or have, you know, watched a scenario where you gave your all, or you saw somebody's light, or you really poured into them, and you could have done so much for somebody, like given to them, given lots of money to them, like made life easier for them, whereas they would have been like draining you or taken from you. And it's like, that's why I'm being shown like, no, you deserve better than this, you deserve better than this. So it's almost like being removed. And then naturally, because of course when we lose anyone in the physical world, in this 3D world, we will purge, we will release, because it can trigger abandonment wounds, it can trigger, you know, hurts and pains. If we've been given and not getting it back, that can hurt. But Spirit's wanting to almost reference something from that higher perspective of like, you deserve this 10 of Pentacles, like you deserve abundance. Whatever it is you're giving out, you should have back. You don't deserve to just be taken advantage of, or to not be seen in the divine way that you are. If you're seeing somebody else in that divine way, not everyone's going to see the light in us, not everyone's going to understand our truth, not everyone's going to understand our depth, not everyone's going to really see who we are. That's okay. But Spirit keeps referencing, because I feel like you may be purging or clearing something in regards to a person. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a relationship. Just because this person couldn't see your worth or treat you with that respect, it doesn't mean that you didn't deserve it or that you weren't worthy. People are only going to see people as deep as they've met themselves. People are only going to love people as much as they love themselves. People are only going to, you know, respect people as much as they respect themselves. And that's where I'm being shown you guys, because it's like, I'm with the amethyst crystal, it's like I want to show you from a higher perspective that there's more out there that can give you truly what it is that you deserve. And I think that I'm hearing Blind by SZA when she sings something like, it's so embarrassing, all the things I need living inside of me, I can't see, I'm blind. And it's like she's basically talking about like her worth and who she is and all that love she has like within her, but it's like she can't see it within herself because she's blind. And it's like she kind of looks to, in the song, it's like she's looking to other people to kind of show that to her instead of her seeing it within herself. And I feel like you may have recently, or there may have been like a cycle where you were connecting with people, and it's almost like you might have been looking for your worth in people. So maybe like from childhood, you may have learned to give a lot to receive a little bit of love back. You may have learned that love is like performative. Love is something you have to work for, and you're not worthy of love unless you work for it, or you're not worthy of having that, you know, being looked after or taken care of or having nice things unless you're worthy of it, and you know, unless you know, you're healing somebody or you're fixing somebody. And I feel like somebody might have come in and triggered that. It might be somebody that you saw the light and you wanted to fix and you wanted to help. But I feel like even the other way around, if like this person would have stayed in your life, I feel like this person has lessons that they need to learn to see that light within themselves and do things for themselves. And I feel like if you would have stayed in their life, you could have interrupted their karma in soothing things over for them, where they didn't then have to learn to take, you know, to heal certain things. Because I feel like somebody might have been around you that may have like taken advantage of like your healing nature, or taken advantage of like how much you give and how much you soothe them. And it's almost like they're not then stepping up to the plate. They're not then purging through things on their own. They're not growing. They're staying in a bud because you're taking care of it. But then it's like, you're not growing because you deserve love back and you deserve that beautiful light back. And it's like, I see you looking at something like, I have to give to receive it back, and that's not the case. And then I think when you don't receive it back, then it triggers rejection, and it triggers those abandonment wounds, and it triggers that feeling of I'm not good enough, because it triggers all the way back to childhood. And in reality, you're not being rejected. It's like, in reality, you're not, it's not that you're not worthy. It's that this person is only going to be able to see you and your light and all that you have to offer, and as much as they've seen themselves. And if they can't, then they're not going to be able to treat you as such. And that doesn't mean then that you're rejected and that you're not worthy, because I see you giving a lot to somebody. It just means that this person they weren't able to have a connection like that to that capacity. And that's why you're being called to pour that energy within and in regards to you, because I feel like you have such a light and such a beauty and so much love. But I think sometimes you can give it out so much because you're full of that love, but to receive it back, there's like a mentality of I have to give loads of it to receive it back, and then it triggers that abandonment mood of I'm not enough now, I need to give more, you know. And then it's like I'm overgiving now and it's still not enough, and now I'm drained and I feel like a piece of me is being taken, and now I'm hurt, and now I'm grieving, and now I feel triggered, and now I feel abandoned because I've just spilled out a lot of my energy and I haven't been giving it back. And that's where you're being called to really like look within and make sure that people are offering just as much as you are, and pacing yourself with these situations. But know that if someone's been removed recently, there's a reason. I feel like they would have been draining you or taken from you, and they weren't stepping towards a situation in the way that you were, and that wouldn't have been fair because you're very protected. And I feel like something divinely has happened to make sure that someone wasn't pulling from you 100%. But I feel like you've been learning to set boundaries and not give too much of yourself where people have been taken. And I feel like that's the lesson that you're learning, and to really get to know your needs and what it is you truly want out of partnerships and connections and friendships and connections with family members. Because knowing your needs, it's like, does this person meet my needs? These are my needs in a connection, this is what I want. And I feel like you're being called to take some time to really understand your needs and what it is you want and what you truly desire, and really working on where you know, where these feelings of unworthiness are coming from, and really getting to the root of them and pulling them out. If you'd like me to do like a reading on that, if you want me to do like a shadow reading, or if you want me to do like another I did an inner child reading the other day, but I can do another one, or just think of where it is where you think these wounds may be coming from. Comment down below if you'd like me to do a reading on whatever area that is, and I can write that down because that's what I'm here for. But yeah, I feel like that's where you're being called right now. You're almost being called into a bit of a cocoon to really go down and see where this wound is coming from. Because I feel like doing that, you'll be able to purge and clear any stored and stagnant feelings of why you feel, you know, that you have to like give a lot in regards to receive that love back. And then in doing that, you'll be able to purge and release that. And then you'll be able to, at the bottom of that then will be your true needs and what you truly want. And getting to know that, you'll be able to step towards connections like, these are my needs, and if people aren't able to offer that back and offer that balanced connection, you're able to step away then, because it's not for you. And I think that's something that you've been learning. But let me know what it is that in regards to a reading that you'd like me to cover, because I can happily add that and do that for you guys. Especially in regards to where certain wounds are coming from, like why, you know, if this is like a love connection or a relationship, like why is this happening in this connection, or why is this happening in this connection? I can do one of those if you would like. But I would say for you guys to listen to SZA's song Blind, because I feel like that kind of sums up the feeling that I'm getting when I'm looking at this Hermit card. It's like you have all this light within you. You don't need to search outside, you know, you don't have to search outside of yourself for that love back, you know. You are already worthy. You're worthy now. You're worthy in your states of grieving. You're worthy in your, you know, down states, your high states. You've always been worthy. And that's what Spirit are wanting to reference to you. And if people can't see it, that's for them to, you know, it's not for you to prove to them that you're worthy. People can't see it. Everyone and everything in life is worthy. Every animal, you know, every tree, every plant, everything's worthy. Everyone's worthy of love and abundance, you know, at their core, and when they're born, you know, everyone is. And you don't have to prove that you are. You don't have to prove that you deserve. You don't have to teach people how, you know, and tell people like, this is what I'm supposed to be having, and then they're still not listening. Like, you are worthy and you deserve that from the beginning. Pile number, I feel like someone's making you feel, or someone's made you feel like you have to prove, like, I'm a good person, I should have this back and I should have that back, and that's not, you shouldn't have to prove it. You shouldn't have to prove yourself just to earn respect back. you know. We have Whispers of Mother Earth, creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. I'm going to get one more card and then I'll channel these 2 cards. Pile number... I've started doing this thing, I don't know if it'll be helpful, where like I've had a lot of like people that I've had to let go of, a lot of family that I've had to let go of and disconnect from, and you know, and I allow myself to feel the sadness and the grief because it's a huge part of it. You've got to let yourself feel these feelings and allow your human self to deal with these emotions. But I also like to look at it from the high perspective of that didn't happen because there's something better for me, or that person had to go because maybe there's something I didn't see that could have happened, that could have harmed me in some way, or could have you know, it could have triggered something worse, or it could have held me back, or it could have, you know, and I always look at it like that, because I've had a lot of scenarios where I've cut people off and then realized later on, oh, if I would have stayed with you, that could have happened to me. That person went on to do something awful, and it's like, that could have happened to me. You know, had that person not been pulled away, and then I have gratitude, like, thank God I let go of that person. And now I look at a lot of life like that. Oh, that didn't happen because it wasn't supposed to. It wasn't for me. And I think of that divine, you know, recognition of it. And of course I let myself purge and grieve, but I also look at it from that divine way, because we need duality, and I want to share that with you because I feel like that may help you. Because you are very protected. We have the sacred union, beloved within, inner and outer relationships. When you realize that just you on your own is enough, when you realize that just waking up in the morning and taking your first breath is enough, like you are enough, you always have been, I feel like that's going to change your inner relationship with self, which is going to allow you to really see where people are not truly stepping up to what it is that you truly deserve back. And I know people say, like, I know there's that saying of like, we need to love ourselves first before we let anyone in, and I know sometimes that can trigger people, and it's not that you're only worthy of love once you love yourself first. That's not it. You're always worthy of love. But when we don't understand our needs, or we have these subconscious woundings that are keeping us trying to prove our worth to somebody, sometimes then it's not safe for relationships to come in, because it's always going to bring in people that aren't really seeing our worth, because it's like subconsciously that's what we're looking for to prove ourselves, you know. And it's the relationship within then that needs to be taken a look at, like, why do I feel the need and where is it coming from? It's almost always coming from childhood, where we felt we needed to overgive or walk on eggshells or heal people and give full love back. And once we clear that, you know, it's like it's just gone from our energy, and then naturally we're able to align with things that we know we deserve within, you know. And then we realize, oh my God, I was always worthy that whole time. I just thought that I wasn't, you know, and I was trying to prove that I was, but I already was, you know. And it's the paradox, and that's why you're being called within. Sorry for the noise outside, guys. Why do we have Whispers of Mother Earth, or creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel? You're being called to, I don't know why, I just feel like you guys are naturally very creative, and I feel like you're being called into your internal world to really, I don't know whether it's like listening to music or painting, anything that's therapeutic, to kind of let your inner child speak out these emotions. Like, let your inner child or your inner teenager release these stagnant feelings within, or feeling like you're not worthy because of this, or you're not worthy because of that, and allow it to purge out through art, through music, listening to music or creating music, looking at art or making art. Like, allow it to come out in that way, because I almost feel like you're naturally very creative, and I feel like that would be very healing, and letting these feelings come out, and letting these you know, even like storytelling, or like journaling or writing it all down. I feel like that's something that would just allow your inner child a voice to, you know. And I feel like there may be a key there in regards to what emotions are stagnant and need to come out. But of course, let me know if you need me to do a reading on it, because you're gonna get to a point, if this is a person that has, you know, you've had this situation with, I see you getting to a point looking back and going, thank God that didn't happen. Like I see you with, you know, another friend or like another relationship, and you know, I see you guys being like, oh my god, thank God, I don't know, you know, I don't know why I was holding on to that person, they were just taken from me, thank God that went, like that just left, thank God. I see you guys doing that then at one point. And sometimes it's not even that that person was a bad person, but if somebody doesn't truly value us because of whatever reason, that is not someone that we want to keep around. If someone's not tailoring, you know, when you're giving all of your energy to someone and somebody's just taking and they're not even thinking of your feelings or respecting your feelings, like that's not right, and that's not fair, and that's not a balanced connection. I don't know why I'm shuffling again, but I'm gonna pull one more card because I just started shuffling. The final card, you have the breathing rose. Yeah, heart, healing, emotions, connection, time, eases. That's what we have here. On the back of the deck we have after the rain, silver lining, relief, hope, mercy, it's over, acceptance. Yeah, I feel like this, whatever it is, this situation, I feel like it's triggered you for a reason, for you to bring these energies up from your inner child. A lot of the times, like if somebody abandons us in childhood, as we get older, our inner child will seek to resolute that by finding people that are emotionally unavailable to convince them to stay so we can make it right, you know? Well, this person didn't stay in my childhood, but if this person that's emotionally unavailable stays, then that means like I'm worthy of staying, and then everything's going to be okay. And it's the inner child then trying to patch things up, you know? I didn't feel worthy in my childhood and everything I did wasn't enough, but if I keep giving to this person and they give love back, then that means that I'm enough. That means that I did it. And that's not, you know, that's the inner child speaking. And then when that person doesn't give us that back, you know, and doesn't pour into us back, it triggers the inner child like the first moment that it happened in childhood, and then it looks for something else, you know. And that's why you're being called into your, you know, inner child wounds, and really look at what made you what made your inner child think that they had to overgive, or what made you feel unworthy, and that's what you're being called to feel into. And it's heavy, I know it's heavy, but that purge will release a lot for you guys, and that's why you'll be able to get to know your inner child before all of that, and know your needs, and fall in love with that as well. So yeah, pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that this reading resonated and it gave you a different perspective, and it gave you you know, an answer to maybe things that you're working through right now. Let me know in the comment section below if there's a certain type of reading you'd like tailored to something, because I can definitely do that. If it's like the heart space or the solar plexus, or again, you know, your inner child, inner teenager, I can do that for you guys. So just let me know. I'll keep an eye on the comments. But yeah, hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it resonated. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.